Hi there. I'm about to go on a passionate, joyful rant, so please ensure that your seatbelt is buckled because I'm about to torpedo my opinions at you like the logs out of Final Destination 1. I am so beyond disgusted and tired of modern greedy video game pricing. And the biggest proponent behind this criminal level of greed is Ubisoft. I've said for the last 3 or so years that nothing makes me lose faith in an upcoming game quicker than seeing a Ubisoft original appear in the trailer. If I was a member of their evil syndicate think tank, my number one suggestion to the board of directors would be hide Ubisoft as much as possible from the credits of these games so people don't know that they're behind these productions. Bury it somewhere so that way people have to go looking to unearth the truth because no one likes Ubisoft. I'd have more optimism about an upcoming game if it said it was a Bernie Madoff masterpiece. Like, I'd trust anyone more than Ubisoft. I think they have produced almost exclusively stinkers over the last 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. Aside from, of course, Rainbow Six Siege, which I think is just an accidental hit for them. And it's an older game, it's a 9-year-old game, and I think the reason that it continues to do well is because Ubisoft forgets that they're involved with it, so they let it do its own thing. But anything Ubisoft gets its grubby little mitts in just is a disaster. Anyone remember the Avatar Legends of Pandora that came out less than a year ago? Didn't think so. And in fact, I bet you didn't even register that I got the name wrong. I double checked. It came out 6 months ago and it's actually called Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. But I imagine some of you watching this did play it and totally forgot about its existence, just like Men in Black Neuralizered out of your mind, but because it was so boring that your brain did its best to defend you from the tedium. It is just a fucking snooze fest that I guarantee you sleptwalk through. Just like mindlessly wandering around in this fugue state of this Ubisoft open world formula that they run into the ground. It's just fucking pitiful productions that they've been behind for the last 5 or 7 years. But before I get too deep into this Ubisoft hate wagon that I'm just vomiting out here, I do want to passionately be excited about something. The Gamer Supps waifu cup with me on it, baby. The most beautiful cup you've ever seen in your life. Look at this goblet. That's me. Yeah, it's available right now at gamersupps.gg. I'll put a link to it in the description. Go ahead and pick that up right now. But the point is, Ubisoft, I don't think has made good games in a while, and I include Assassin's Creed in this. I haven't enjoyed Assassin's Creed in so long. The last good one, and this isn't a controversial opinion, was Black Flag. And I didn't enjoy Black Flag as much as everyone else, but I can recognize that it was probably the last good Assassin's Creed game. And I play all of them. I try them all. Except I only lasted 4 hours in Mirage because it was such a fucking snooze fest. And Valhalla, I think, is the only time I've ever fallen asleep on stream. They're just boring games. And this is all a long-winded precursor to what I want to talk about today, which is the newest Assassin's Creed game, Shadows, which of course Ubisoft is behind. Now there's a lot of controversy around this, a ton of drama because of the main character here, or one of the main characters. I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just going to tell you right now up top, I'm going to rip the band-aid off. I don't care. I legitimately could not care less about the historical accuracy of the Assassin's Creed franchise. That means about as much to me as the tiny hairs around my asshole. It is truly worthless to me. I wouldn't care if you played as Dabi the House Elf in the new Feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game. Doesn't matter as long as it's a good game, which I don't think that will be because I have no faith in Ubisoft and even less faith in Assassin's Creed. But what I do care about greatly is the pricing that Ubisoft is spearheading here. They just did this for Star Wars Outlaws with the $100 plus versions, and now they're doing it again for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I am so fucking tired of it. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. These are your pricing options for the different editions of Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, for the standard edition, it's $70, but you have to pre-order it if you want access to a pre-order exclusive mission. The mission's called Thrown to the Dogs, and the only way you get access to this, it seems, is if you've pre-ordered the game, which they haven't even shown any motherfucking gameplay for yet. I think that is the biggest load of barnacles ever. You're just pre-ordering based off of a cinematic trailer alone. It's a terrible, shameful thing to ask of the consumer, but that's Ubisoft in a nutshell. They're completely shameless. Moving on to the Gold Edition, you get the pre-order bonus plus a season pass and 3-day early access. Season pass in a single player game is probably one of the most embarrassing things ever that's become commonplace. If I was the goober at Ubisoft that came up with the idea of single player season passes, I would never share that information with anybody ever. You wouldn't be able to torture that out of me at Guantanamo Bay. Batman couldn't beat that shit out of me. That is so fucking embarrassing. And in this case, it's especially egregious because the season pass for the Gold Edition includes a mission, so it's just paywalling even more content of the game behind the season pass and the higher price tag. And let's talk about that 3-day early access real quick, because I've seen a lot of discussion around it, and they're making great points about it. For 110 clams, you're not paying to play the game 3 days early. You're paying to play it on time. If you pay $70, you're playing the game 3 days late. So it's not early access. For 110 bones, you play the game when it comes out, and unless you fork over the additional 40, you play the game 3 days late. That's how it works. That is extraordinarily anti-consumer. Like, increasing the amount of money just to play the game when it fucking releases is absurd. And then we move on to the Ultimate Edition. For $130, you get pay-to-win elements in a single-player game. 5 skill points and then like a bunch of cosmetics. I'm gonna get a little mean here with some tough love. If you have to pay an additional $60 just for a little bonus pay-to-win in your single-player game, I think you need to take a hard look in the mirror and just recognize that maybe gaming's just not for you. Like, if that's the only way you'll enjoy the game is being able to, like, pay to win through a single-player game, I think maybe, take up a different kind of hobby. I feel like such a fucking Redditor gatekeeping gaming, but that is so unbelievably silly to pay an additional $60 for 5 skill points and then a couple of cosmetics. Like, I'm sure the cosmetics will look cool, but they're not worth almost paying the exact same price as the game itself just to get some cosmetics for it. That is a crazy thing to ask of people. Then, of course, there's the final option here, which is getting the Ultimate Edition through Ubisoft Plus, which is their own cringe subscription service for $18 a month. Because every single fucking thing on the planet has a subscription service now behind it. I bet there's going to be a subscription service for Mr. Bean. Like Mr. Bean Extra On-Demand Turbo Arcade. Even though there's only 15 episodes of Mr. Bean that have ever aired and they're all freely accessible on YouTube right now. But I bet they'll probably come out with some kind of Mr. Bean subscription in the next few years. That's just the number one trend that every tech company follows now. And Ubisoft is, of course, no stranger to that. So they have Ubisoft Plus, which hopefully they have less than double digits of users signed up to that, because I don't know who in their right mind would sign up for Ubisoft Plus. But anyway, that's the other option of getting the Ultimate Edition. I hate the direction Ubisoft is trying to push AAA gaming. I hate this pricing scheme. I think it's terrible. It was bad when they did it with Star Wars Outlaws. It's bad that they're doing it with Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I'm really hoping that it flops extraordinarily hard so that way more AAA companies don't try and emulate it. Because I have no doubt there's a lot of companies paying close attention to what Ubisoft's doing here. And if it's successful, they'll probably employ similar tactics. And that would just be bad for everybody. So I wanted to vent about this a little bit. I think it super sucks. I hate where Ubisoft is trying to take the industry. So yeah, I kind of wanted to just rant about this a little bit and get it all out of my system. I'm still going to try Assassin's Creed Shadows because I still give every single game that comes out a try for the most part to see if maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised and proven wrong. So far, the safest bet I'll ever be able to make is that the newest Assassin's Creed game is going to be boring. That's been proven true time and time and time and time and time again for me personally, but maybe Shadows is the one to break that streak. And if it does, great, but it's still not going to change the way I feel about how Ubisoft is monetizing it. I think it is horrible for the industry overall. Even if the game comes out and it's great, I still can't stand what Ubisoft has done with their monetization of these games. I think it is fucking atrocious. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.